That's what I'm here for, Nature Boy, to spread some positive thoughts and cheer. Good morning, good morning. As you can see from the title there, well, there's a lot to talk about today, but I want to talk about week 0 and week 1 streaming schedule. And I'm going to need some of your input on that. Don't worry about it, Nate. I'm not mad at you. All right. Let's get this thing started. Shall we? What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to the Midday Show. I'm your host, PigskinPeete. I hope everyone had a great weekend. So, as you can see from the title there, several things I want to talk about this morning before I bring the open up the StreamYard. What's up, Volusia? What's up, everybody in the chat? So we're getting close to week 0, right? And I'm trying to put together my schedule for week 0 streaming and week 1 streaming, so I can just go ahead and get it in the books, and so I can promote those streams. Now, first thing first, for anybody who's been around here for any amount of time, you know, we joke about these the different slots that different YouTubers do, and don't stream in this person's slot and don't stream in that person's slot. Well, that's all good and well until football season started. All that goes right out the window. So trying to schedule which games you're going to stream around what other people's games are going to be streaming is just impossible, and I won't even waste my time trying to do it. You just have to put up with the reality that people are going to stream games on their own volition, and you just have to deal with it. It is what it is. So anyone who gets mad at me for streaming a game they're streaming, well, send it. Any complaints you have, you can send to crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com. He'll respond to your complaint in kind, I promise, very promptly too. But I want to get week 0 and week 1 out of the way. I want to know which games I'm going to be streaming for the members only side. For those of you who don't know what that is, if you're a member of the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel and you have one of those little emojis by your name, I do at least one members only stream a week, and I do at least one public stream a week. Now, most of the public games will be most Clemson games. Those are going to be public, and whatever games on the Clemson's time slot. Since I have 2 TVs in here, since I redid the studio here, I can watch multiple games at once. So if Clemson's on at noon, if there's another noon game on that's interesting, we can have that on too. Same thing with the members only stream. Actually, if I'm doing a members only stream and there's another game on that's interesting at the same time, we can watch both of them. So, but week 0 and week 1 in particular, there's so many different days. I mean, you got Thursday games, you've got Friday games, especially week 1. You got 5 days in a row with college football games starting on a Thursday night. I probably won't do any on Friday night. I think the Friday night is that. We'll look at it in a minute because I have a call-in show that night. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I won't stream all 5 of those days, but probably 3 or 4 of them. So, and after week 1, we'll get week 0 and week 1 figured out this morning. But after week 1, from week 2 on, it's going to be on a week-to-week or week-by-week basis. So what I'll do is I'll announce to everybody which game I'm going to be streaming publicly that week, or games. And then I'll pick a handful of games and put up a poll in the community section just for the members only. And they can vote on which members only game they want me to stream. So that's how that'll work. Let's see here. First of all, let's see who's in the chat, and then we'll start looking at some of these. I got the TV schedule pulled up. Goose Sports is here. Wilkie, what's up, Wilkie? Kevron Harris, what's up? Nature Boy, Sports Talk 101, Country Tiger, Nick DTV, Baylor Man, Nate the Great, Volusia Orange, Tater Man in a Foreign Land, Jeremy Garrettson, Battle Angels here, Vic Tube Productions, John Serene, The Uncle Lou. He says, no, don't email crazyuncle@gmail.com. Email bvdincorporated@yahoo.com. So there you go. Scott Kerr. He's ready for another cage match. That was gold last night. Mr. Duggar Fishing. What's up, Mr. Duggar? Huffer Billy Paw is here. Get to see some of you guys next week. A week from today, actually. Yeah, in Cherokee. I'm only going for 2 days. I'm arriving on Monday and leaving on Wednesday. But I plan on leaving pretty early on Monday morning, actually, so I can get up there before it gets too hot. And the first thing I'll do is, instead of going to the casino, is probably go down to the pool. I got to keep this tan going that I got going in Florida, So anyway, I'll see you all there. What's up, P Digits? All right, let's take a look real quick at this TV schedule. Let's go back to the top here. All right, so we've got Saturday, August the 26th. This is week 0. This is obviously a week from this coming Saturday, or 2 weeks from this past Saturday. Now, there's only 2 games on here that even are worth streaming, in my opinion, or that I would even feel like streaming. And that would be the 2:30 p.m. game, Navy and Notre Dame in Ireland. I think I'm definitely going to do that one just because it's in Ireland. And I'm curious to see what Notre Dame is going to look like. Albeit it's against Navy, I still want to see what Notre Dame looks like with Sam Hartman and what that offense is going to look like, because obviously they play Clemson later in the year. So that's one that's on the ballot for either public or members only. The next one down here is the 7:30 p.m. game, Hawaii and Vanderbilt. So I don't really have any preference. I'm thinking, unless the members have a problem with this, I'm thinking I'm going to do the Navy and Notre Dame game publicly on the public side of YouTube. And then if it's okay with the members, we'll do the members only stream Hawaii and Vanderbilt. Does anybody have a problem with that? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Yeah, I'm an Ireland boy. San Jose and USC. Yeah, it's on the same time. See, that's the thing. Like I said, since I have two TVs in here now, I can have both of those on at the same time. So yeah, if I do a members only stream at 7:30 p.m., we can watch both Hawaii and Vanderbilt and San Jose State and USC. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if I had the Pac-12 network. I don't even think I do. Does anybody have that? I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. Unless I get some sort of backlash from the members here. Week 0, it's going to be Navy game, live, publicly, and members only at 7:30 for Hawaii and Vanderbilt. And, honestly, I'm going to take a look. Hulu, doo-doo, no Pac-12. Does YouTube TV have the Pac-12 network? I'm being serious. It does have it. Oh. All right, so members only Hawaii and Vanderbilt at 7:30 p.m. I'm actually, when I'm up in Cherokee next week, I'm going to place a couple of wagers on these week 1 and week 0 games. And I think I'm going to bet the farm. Well, I don't have a farm, but if I did have one, I'd bet the farm on Vanderbilt to cover that. Last I saw, it was like 17 points or something. I think Vanderbilt's going to beat them by like 30 or 40. I don't think it's going to even be close. So anyway, so there you have it for week 0. Now, I'm getting a football boner here looking at all these games too. Look at this. Wait, look at it. Look down when you go to week 1. This is Thursday, August 31st. I guess it's possible I could definitely stream on Thursday because I don't have any scheduled live shows on Thursdays. Let's see if there's anything worth doing here. NC State and UConn at 7:30 p.m. Nebraska and Minnesota. That's actually pretty interesting. That's at 8. Florida and Utah. That's a big game. Let's see. I'll make sure that none of these are on that stupid Pac-12 network. All right, so we got Fox, ESPN, CBS. I got all those. FS1, I got all those. ACC network. Well, the Nebraska and Minnesota and the Florida and Utah game come on at the same time, so we can co-watch those. Also, NC State and UConn will be on at that time. Yeah, that's a hell of a time slot there. I bet there's going to be a lot of people streaming at that time. But I don't care. Like I said earlier, I just don't care. Yeah, we'll do that time slot, 8 o'clock on Thursday. 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Let's go down here. Like I mentioned earlier, Friday, September the 1st, there is a couple of really good games on. Well, mainly, there's 2 ACC games on that people are going to want to watch. Well, most people, anyway. Miami of Ohio against Miami, and Lousville and Georgia Tech. I'm not going to stream on game on Friday because I have the call-in show at 10 p.m. And also, That'll give a chance for Wreckman and Sea Dog to team up together and stream that game if they feel so inclined to do so. So no streaming for Peete as far as a live game on Friday night. Where are we at here? Sorry, Saturday, September the 2nd. Now this is look how many games there are. This is beautiful. All right. So Saturday I will do one live public game and one members only game. Let's figure out what those will be. We got Colorado and TCU. That's only interesting because of Deion Sanders' debut as a head coach at Colorado, and I'm sure that might be the highest rated game of Colorado games since when did they win the national title in 1992 or something? Just because of Deion. So that's a candidate. There's a bunch of games at noon, but that looks like the best one. Utah State and Iowa. What we got here? 3:30 slot. Ohio State and Indiana. We'll see if Ohio State is able to complete a screen pass. Apparently, one of their receivers has been talking to the media saying that they can't even complete a screen pass in practice. Well, they better get that figured out. That, you know who that reminds me of? That reminds me of DJ Uiagalelei with Clemson. Couldn't complete a screen pass. That shit. They better get it worked out quick. Oh, Virginia and Tennessee at noon, too. There are a couple good ones there at noon. Colorado, TCU, Virginia and Tennessee. That game is in Nashville. I guess that's at the Titans Stadium? I guess it's got to be. Neutral site game. Where are we at here? So that's a couple of good ones at noon. Let's go down to the 3:30 slot. I already said Ohio State and Indiana. UMass and Auburn. Jesus. Boise State and Washington's kind of interesting. You got the Toothpaste School, Colgate, and Syracuse. Going way down here. Texas State and Baylor. Yeah, nothing great there. Am I missing something here? Oh, West Virginia and Penn State. So here's what I'm thinking. I want to see that. Here's what I'm thinking. Again, once we get past week 0 and week 1, I'm going to put these members only games up for a vote. So I won't be the one deciding them, but I am going to be the one deciding them these first 2 weeks. So let's do. Let me write this down. Week 1 public. Well, first of all, the 8 o'clock Thursday slot, and then the noon slot on Saturday. That will cover both the Colorado game and what was the other one I said? And the Virginia and Tennessee game. So that'll be on the public side of YouTube at noon. And then the nighttime slot. Where was the one I just said? I forgot what game I was talking about at night. Oh, North Carolina and South Carolina at 7:30 p.m. What else is there? So West Virginia and Penn State and North and South Carolina in the same time slot. Sign me up for that. That'll be a good one for the members. And we'll have a good time on that. And that way Jackpot won't get mad at me this year like he did last year for streaming a South Carolina game whenever he was doing it. Unless he wants to become a member. But the good news is, if you're a member and we watch that game together, we'll spend a lot of time checking in on our buddy Jackpot. So it'll be the best of both worlds. All right, members will be what was that, 7 o'clock or 7:30? 7:30. This is great. All right, so that'll take care of the 2 streams on Saturday of week 1. The noon slot publicly and the members only at 7:30 p.m. What do we got now? Now we have games on Sunday. I will probably not stream. Now, this is the big one, the 7:30 p.m. game, LSU and Florida State. I'm probably not going to stream on Friday or Sunday because Clemson plays on Monday. I gotta leave at least one day out of those 4 or 5 days where I'm not streaming, where I can watch football with Mrs. Peete. Otherwise, she gets mad at me. So nothing on Sunday. I will clearly, like everybody else, I'll be watching LSU and Florida State intensely from my living room. Then Monday, of course, Clemson and Duke. That goes without saying. A standalone game on Monday night on ESPN. I'll be streaming that right here publicly. There you have it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 between public and members together. That's 6 streams in the course of what? 3 days. Yeah, because I'm not doing anything on Friday or Sunday. So there you go. Does that sound good? Where do you join the join at? There should be a button if you don't have a button on whatever device you're using, because some devices, like on my, since I have an iPhone, there's no join button whenever I go to somebody's page. But I do have a link. It should be in the description. Let me see if it's in there. Should be. Yeah, so there's a link in there. If you go down right below where it says shop for your favorite sports gear here, it says use this link to join the channel and become an exclusive member of the show. And it's like a little YouTube link there. That should take you to the join. I don't know why they don't have that enabled on Apple devices. What's up, Sea-Dog? Yeah, so if Sea-Dog and Rec Talk are going to stream that the Georgia Tech game, I'll be tuning into it. Either way. So there you guys have it. There it is for week 1 and week 0. And like I said, once we get into week 2, we'll start over from scratch, and I'll do some votes, some polls up on the community page for the members to pick which one they want. And like I said, most weeks I'm going to be streaming Clemson every week publicly, so that's pretty much a given. That's pretty much a given. And hopefully, like when they play, like here you go, like week 2 here, Clemson and Charleston Southern on the ACC network at 2:15 p.m. Let's see what else is on at the same time. Not much. Not much. Well, the South Carolina State and Georgia Tech game will still be on. Oh, that's not even on TV, though. It's on ESPN Plus. I think I actually might. I can't remember if I have ESPN Plus or not. I know one time I bought ESPN Plus for a fight. Like, that was a couple years ago, though. For a boxing match. I don't know if I still have it. Anyway, I'll check on that. But yeah, I'll be, yeah. So, maybe I won't stream that game. You know what? Maybe I just watch that game and stream something different. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We've got the first 2 weeks figured out. We'll figure that out. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about this morning? Oh, so this is not football related, but it's on topic right now. On the morning show this morning, the Las Vegas trip for the guys next year came up, and we were talking about that, and we went ahead because it has to be done. We went ahead and got dates for that. So it has to be after the football season's over, or after the college football season's over, for obvious reasons, and not too close to the Slob Olympics, which is the first week of March, the first day of March. So it's got to be somewhere between the middle of January and the middle of February. Now, for me personally, my wedding anniversary is on February 2nd, so I can't be going to Vegas during my wedding anniversary week. I don't think Mrs. Peete would enjoy that too much. I would never do that to her. So anyway, we tentatively came up with a date of January. What was it? I forgot now. What did we say it was? Shit. Was it the 22nd through the 26th? That's a Monday? Yeah, that's what it was. The 22nd through the 26th. That's arriving on a Monday and leaving on a Friday. So that's what it was. They started looking, or Lou started looking at where we were going to stay. And it does have to be a Caesars property, because we have Caesars rewards. Well, I know I do. I know he does. And some of the other people that are coming also do as well. So the rooms are either highly discounted or free, depending on how much rewards points you have. But anyway, so here, if you're looking at this, here's the strip on Google Earth right here. This is, I'm going to start at sort of this is the central area where most of the big name hotel casinos that everyone wants to visit or stay at and or gamble at or whatever are located. As you can see right here, what is this here? I don't even know what that is, actually. This is the Aria right here. I don't know if you can see it. It looks small on Google Earth. It's not that small. And it looks small compared to some of these other ones too, but here on the right, this is Planet Hollywood. That is a Caesars property, and right across the street from that is the Cosmopolitan. I've actually never been inside the Cosmopolitan before. I'll probably check that out this time just to go in there and see what it looks like. I've heard it's cool. And then if you go, just keep going north up a little bit, this is Paris, this cross-shaped building, which is actually pretty cool if you've ever been in there. I believe right across the street is the Bellagio with the giant pool out front and whatnot, and they have that fountain show. They shoot the water up in the air every hour or something. This is the most popping part of the strip here as far as what's going on in the streets and whatnot, you know. All right, so then you go up just a few blocks, and what we got here? I believe that's the Flamingo. Let me zoom in more. Yeah, so this is the Flamingo. So as you can see, this is where we're most likely going to stay because it's just the cheapest. I've stayed there before, and I actually like it. See, the thing about this is it all depends on what you go to Vegas for. All right. You know, if you just go to have a luxury hotel and to go to these shows and, you want to walk on the marble floors and look at the artwork, paint, the priceless paintings on the wall and all that kind of shit. Like, that's not what I go for. So this is one of the oldest hotels in Vegas on the Strip, the Flamingo. Now it's clearly been remodeled several times. It's not a shitty hotel, but in my opinion, of all the different casinos that I've been in that are on the Strip, it's my favorite casino floor. It's a gambler's casino. You know, some of the other ones are maybe a little more flashy. The Flamingo is where a lot of the people that just like to gamble go, right? It also has a pool and stuff. Let me see. Yeah, you see it has a nice big pool out back here, a couple pools actually. So it has all that too. And then right across from that is, what is this here? I think that's Caesars right there. I believe Caesars is right across the street from Flamingo. I think that's the Caesars Palace. I can't read it. Let's go up here. Maybe it's up here. A little ways. It's hard to tell on Google Earth because you can't see the front of the building and see what the name on the building is. You know? What is that there? But I know just north, I can't really tell what these are, but I know just north of the Flamingo as you walk north up the strip here, it goes, there's the Venetian is over here, which is cool. If you've ever been in there before. What is that one? I can't read it. I don't know what that is. So you have about, I don't know exactly how many blocks. I want to say it's a good, oh, here's the Mirage right here on the left. And once you get past the Mirage, I think it gets a little more spread out with some of these bigger casino hotels. Which one is that? Oh, the Treasure Island. That's Treasure Island right there. That place is big, as you can see. The Wynn, I believe that's the Wynn right there, I think. And then, of course, there is a bunch of places. I don't know. I'm trying to remember where the what's the one that's shaped like a pyramid? It's at the end of the strip. I don't know. I can't remember if it's on the south end of the or north. I think it's on the south end of the strip. I'm going north here. So that's pretty much it. So I guess my point is, wait, is that the Win? That's Encore right there. So I guess my point is that staying in that Flamingo to Planet Hollywood area is a central location to all of these other casinos and hotels. So I prefer to just be able to walk to anywhere I want to go. Now, if you want to go over to Fremont Street, which we definitely will have to do that when we're there, you do have to take an Uber. That's like a 10 or 15 minute cab ride or Uber ride to Fremont Street. That's old Las Vegas, and you got to experience it. It's something serious. And they have, and they're fun to gamble into. Those old casinos. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the Luxor. Thank you. Yeah, it's on the south end. Let's see if we can find it. There's Planet Hollywood again. The Luxor is actually pretty cool, but it's just so far away from everything else. There's Mandalay Bay. And what is that? Well, that's all Mandalay Bay right there. I don't know. Golf course. I thought it was on the, is it, holy shit, what did I just do? I thought it was on the strip. Let's just look for a pyramid-shaped building here. Is that a Trump course? Right there? I know it's right by here because this is that famous sign, the Las Vegas sign when you're coming into Vegas that everyone stops at and takes a picture in front of. And it's somewhere around there. I remember passing it on the way to that sign. The Pinball Hall of Fame, bro. What is that about? You guys can tell I'm not very good at using Google Earth. If I would have done this before, we could have read the names on the damn. Oh, there it is. How did I pass that? It's right next to Mandalay Bay. Isn't that where? What's that magician's name? One of those magicians. Isn't that where he does a show? Is it Chris Angel or one of those guys? Penn and Teller. Hell, I don't know. Yeah, Fremont Street, especially if you like to play slot machines, they have the loosest slots in Vegas. Everybody loves loose slots, don't they? Yeah, much easier to see from this angle. Why didn't I do this before? What is that, Circus Circus? That's Circus Circus, I think. That's the place where everyone that has kids and takes their kids to Vegas, you go, it's the only casino on the strip. You walk in and there's kids running around everywhere. No, thank you. There's the Park MGM. What is this one here? No signage on that one. So it's kind of hard to see. Maybe I can turn this around. Can I rotate, bro? I want to rotate. Damn it. Anyway, you can see on Planet Hollywood right here, there's like I don't know how many floors it is. These pools up here are on, there's 2 roofs. But it's on the main roof. Up here, overlooking the strip. I don't think there's one in the back of it. No. All right. That's it. I'm going to do a short news segment today, very short. And it's not going to be regular news. It's going to be just a little bit of sports news from this past weekend. We got the NFL started with their preseason games this weekend, and there's a couple of highlights stories out of that I'll read, and then we'll get right to the StreamYard.
Breaking news from the PigskinPeete YouTube channel.
Not a cheeseburger indeed. Harbaugh will be hit hard. Will he, though? And what year? Will he still be there whenever they do hit him hard? It usually takes the NCAA about 10 years to hand down any sort of punishment for something. Even something as simple as buying a cheeseburger for somebody, which is silly anyway. Silly. I know the Carolina Panthers played on Saturday and got completely stomped by I think it was the Jets. It was like 27-0 or something. Bryce Young was like 4 for 6 for 20 yards, and no, that was it. Oh, in other news, Tater Man, Lucas Glover, former Clemson Tiger golfer, has now won on the PGA Tour 2 weeks in a row. Back to back. Tater Man. That's right. ACC football predictions, top contenders, sleepers, and championship picks. Okay. Clemson, let's see here. Clemson plus 140 to win the ACC, so they're favored to win the ACC slightly, I think, over Florida State. National title odds plus 1,800, over under 10 wins. Yep. I actually think it's 9.5. But over under 10 wins would not be over or under, would it? Let's see the difference here. Florida State at plus 170. What was Clemson at? Where are we at here? Clemson was plus 140. Florida State plus 170. Huh? Thought they were closer than that. National title odds plus 1,800, which I believe is the same as Clemson, isn't it? Yep. So, so they had the same national title odds, and Florida State over under 9.5 wins. North Carolina. National title odds plus 12,500. Now, is this a national title? I'm assuming this is to win the national title, right? Not just to make it there. I think that's what that means. Over under 8 wins. Louisville. Damn. Look at all the teams that Louisville's ahead of in the odds. This is alarming. They're ahead of NC State, Miami, Pittsburgh. Jesus Christ. Duke. Wake Forest, Syracuse. Who's last? Virginia Tech, Boston College, Georgia Tech. Look at the national title odds for Georgia Tech. Not available.
Casket! I don't feel well. Jesus. Life shouldn't be that stressful. If this is my show 2 weeks in, by week 10, I'm going to be doing the show from a casket.
Oh, man. So Virginia's the lowest in the odds there. Plus 20,000 to win the conference. Which means, for all you people out there, so Virginia would have somehow find a way to win the ACC. A $100 bet would win you 20 grand. That's what that means. All right, so according to Yahoo Sports, the most overrated team, according to, I don't know who Nick and Sam are. I guess the two guys that wrote this article. Most overrated team, 2023 ACC, Miami. How they're overrated, but you've got them 2 spots lower than Louisville? Come on. So Nick says Miami and Sam says North Carolina. Sleeper team, Nick says Pitt and Sam says Miami. I agree with Nick on that one. I think that Pitt has a chance to compete for the conference. We'll see. Title pick. Nick says Florida State. I like the shift in offensive philosophy at Clemson, and I think Klubnik is a quarterback who can make the Tigers offense better. It's been since the days of Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not sold on Florida State this year with the returning talent and additions via the transfer portal. Well, this is confusing. It says title pick, and then he says Florida State, but then he talks about how he thinks that Florida State's overrated and Clemson's going to win it. So that's confusing. Sam says Clemson. Florida State beat a bunch of bad teams last year and still has a few position groups on defense I'm not sold on. So I think the hype is a bit overblown there. I don't see the Tigers getting back to the college football playoff, but I'm a believer in the changes made on the offense. They had the benefit of facing both Florida State and Notre Dame at home. So it looks to me like they both picked Clemson. I don't know why Nick wrote Florida State and then trashed them. That doesn't make any sense. So it looks like to me like they both picked Clemson. All right. Oh, in other news, two Tatermen yesterday with big preseason games. It was either yesterday or Saturday. It was yesterday. Justin Ross. Shout out to Justin Ross. Nobody even knew if he was going to be able to play football again. We all know his spinal problem he had while he was at Clemson. Missed a lot of time there. Did he even get drafted? I think he got drafted late, but there was worry that he wouldn't get drafted. He got drafted late by the Kansas City Chiefs, and has had a good camp as far as what they're saying, and played had a big day in the preseason game. Got a touchdown. Also, Cornell Powell, also a Tater man that plays for the Chiefs, with some catches. Let's see here. The 10 biggest storylines entering the 2023 college football season. Number 1, Georgia goes for the three-peat. Georgia has a chance to do something that has never been done before in the modern era of college football and win 3 consecutive national championships. That would be something. That would be something. The only three-peat in college football history came all the way back in 1934 through 36 when Minnesota claimed 3 straight national titles. Number 2, a storyline, the Pac-12 swan song. The Pac-12 has been gutted by the conference realignment, but the league's final season, as we know it, has a chance to be very compelling. Southern Cal returns Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Caleb Williams is the preseason favorite ahead of Washington, Utah, and Oregon. USC has stacked offense and made additions to every level of its defense via the transfer portal. Of course, I have Southern Cal making the college football playoff, mainly because of that guy you're looking at right there, who I believe is the best quarterback in the country. Alabama versus LSU in the SEC West. You don't know about that. I mean, some of these are just storylines every year. I don't know what makes it, special about 2023. I mean, Alabama and LSU is always a big game. And then this one, the Big Ten East three-way battle. There's always a three-way battle in the Big Ten East between Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. I guess because the expectations for Penn State are higher this year than in previous years, the past few years. Maybe that has something to do with it. And also Michigan, beating Ohio State 2 years in a row. Can Texas win the new look Big 12 before departing to the SEC? Can Florida State overtake Clemson in the ACC? Could Clemson's run of dominance in the ACC be coming to an end? The Tigers have won the ACC title in 7 of the past 8 seasons, but they could be in for a serious challenge from Florida State in 2023. Florida State had a breakthrough 10-win season in 2022 and returns a ton of talent from the team. From that team, the Seminoles also made upgrades at several positions via the transfer portal. Clemson's coach Dabo Swinney refuses to utilize the portal even when there are position groups on his roster that could use some help. Meanwhile, they were over scholarship limit until about 2 weeks ago. So I don't know how you bring in a transfer when you're over scholarship. Now, one guy got kicked off of the team for posting. I don't know what weird shit he was into, taking pictures of people in the locker room. So that opened up a scholarship spot. And then I believe it was it Will Taylor that got he's on a baseball scholarship, so he's still on the football team, but he's on a baseball scholarship, not a football scholarship. So that freed up another scholarship to get Clemson down to the 85 where they needed to be. But as far as going in and getting 3 and 4 guys out of the transfer portal, there wasn't scholarships available to do that. These people might need to do their research before they start. Now, I understand in years past there's been area for him to use the portal and he hasn't done it, but this year has nothing to do with that. So, I mean, there was 4 guys that came back that we all thought were going to the NFL. So that took up 4 scholarships right there. Clemson made 6 consecutive college football playoff appearances between 2015 and 2020, winning 2 national championships in the last 2 seasons. Clemson has not played up to that standard, particularly on offense. With Cade Klubnik in place and quarterback Riley calling the offense, Sweeney's program is aiming for a resurgence. Number 7, the final season before playoff expansion. This should be up closer to number 1 or number 2, in my opinion. I've kind of switched. I don't know if switched is the way to put it. I guess I've come to sort of appreciate, although it's going to be very different, and I don't think necessarily it's going to change who wins the national championship on most years. You might have an outlying year here or there where you see an 8 or 9 or 10 seed make a run and possibly win the thing. But I think for the most part, the best team in the country is going to win most every year. So, but anyway, I do think it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to make for an interesting postseason, especially for the people like me on YouTube. Much more storylines in the postseason. Not to mention the way that since the playoff has started in 2014, a lot of the bowl games have become, in some people's minds, not in my mind, but in some people's minds, a lot of these bowl games that used to be prestigious and people love to watch and players love to play in have become quote unquote irrelevant. Players have lost interest in it. If they're not in the playoff, they'd rather start training for the combine or whatever. At least you won't have that with this. Now, you still have the bowl problem. If you're sitting out because you didn't make the 4-team playoff, the chances are you're definitely sitting out if you don't make a 12-team playoff, right? So those bowl games probably are going to go by the wayside for a lot of the quote-unquote casual type fan base, right? Not for people like me, but what percentage of viewers of college football do you guys would be classified as a casual type fan? People that don't pay attention year-round like we do. They tune in for a few weeks a year, and as soon as the game's over, they tune out until next year. And they only watch maybe just their team, or maybe they only watch just their team in big games, or those type of people. So I'm coming along to, and we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. But I'm on board with the 12-team playoff thing at this point. We'll see. It's Coach Prime time at Colorado. Deion Sanders has turned Colorado into must-see TV. For how long, though? That's the question. If Colorado goes out there and starts the season 1-4 or 0-5 or whatever, I mean, how long is that honeymoon going to last if they're not winning? That's what I'm getting at here. My guess is not very long. The Pro Football Hall of Famer inherited one of the... What is this? A one-win Colorado team and completely turned over the roster in one offseason. Now all eyes will be on the Buffaloes as they open the season with national television games versus TCU and Nebraska. The quality of the roster is massively improved, but how many games can Colorado win in Sanders' first season? The Buffaloes have a pretty good group at skill positions and a two-way star wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter, but they cannot afford to lose starting quarterback Shedeur Sanders to injury. There is very little behind Sanders, and there are questions about the team's depth on the offensive line. From a bigger perspective, it's fair to wonder how almost an entirely new team can assimilate in just a few months, and how well can that translate to results on the field. With the roster turnover, with taking over the worst team in the Power 5, which is what Colorado was last year, and then turning over, 70% of the roster, and only having a few months to get ready for the season. If he was able to have any sort of success in his first season, that would be the first time that anything like that's ever happened. So there's no precedent set for that. I would say, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about the win total for Colorado and what to expect and all that. And some people think that they're going to be better than others, and some people think they're going to be just as bad as they were last year, and wherever you fall on that. I think it's fair to say, if somehow Colorado was able to manage 6 wins and make a bowl, that would be a home run for Deion Sanders in his first year. Now, he won't say that. Of course, his players wouldn't say that. According to Deion Sanders, they're the best team in the country, blah, blah, blah. What all coaches say. But I think a 6-win Colorado team would be a home run for him. But don't ask what's his name about that. Forget his name now. R.J. Young, that's what I'm talking about. How will new coaches fare at Auburn, Nebraska, and Wisconsin? Aside from Sanders and Boulder, there's some other first-year head coaches to keep an eye on. Of course, Hugh Freeze at Auburn, Matt Rule at Nebraska, and Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. Which one of those coaches has the best season? Well, I guess that's relative to what their expectations are, right? Not necessarily what the final record is, because some of these coaches took over better situations than others. Some of them play in different conferences than others, divisions and all that. Who, out of those 3 guys, Matt Rule, Hugh Freeze, and Luke Fickell, who has the easiest transition into creating a successful first season? So I guess what I'm saying is, which one of these 3 teams is the least of a dumpster fire? Got to be Fickell at Wisconsin, right? He didn't inherit a bad situation, really. The only thing I would say about Wisconsin is the style of football that they have been playing for the past 20 years compared to what Luke Fickell's going to do is different. The type of players that they've been recruiting. But I don't know. I feel like he's a good enough coach. He should be able to adapt to the talent that's on his team. He's not going to be running the exact same offense as he was running at Cincinnati. He's just not going to be able to, not the first year. But I would say him. Yeah. Looks like you all agree with me in the chat too, so. Number 10, look at this. Can teams like Texas A&M and Miami rebound? Rebound from what? From 20 years of mediocrity? I mean, come on. A rebound. I feel like we hear that about Texas A&M every single year. This is the year. I mean, they've got to be. You know how we always talk about places like Duke and Wake Forest and some of these other schools like that. These coaches like Dave Clawson, They get the most with, they do the most with less, right? They get the most success on the field based on the amount of talent they have, the amount of money that goes into the program, the whole thing, the amount of resources that they have at their disposal. Texas A&M has got to be at the top of the list for doing the least with the most. I mean, quite literally the most money. I mean, their facilities are second to none. There's not a check big enough that their boosters can't write for whatever that they need. They recruit in the top 5 on an annual basis. And just year in and year out, they fall flat on their face. So the Texas A&M situation is way different than the Miami situation. The only thing they have in common is that they're both big brands. I don't think they have anything else in common as far as that goes. But some high-profile programs are coming off of tough seasons. Will they be able to bounce back? Texas A&M entered the 2022 season ranked in the top 10 before face planting, which is what they do best, and finishing 5-7. The Aggies have to do better this year, right? If Jimbo Fisher and the new offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino can coexist, the Aggies should improve. The personnel is there with the quarterback Connor Wigman and an excellent receiver group led by Evan Stewart and Anais Smith. The Aggies also have a ton of promise on the defensive line. I feel like that's the same thing we hear, but they got a great quarterback this year. They look at their receiving core, look at their defensive line. This is the same story every year. And don't talk to me, well, they played, it's because of the division they play in. Yeah, well, guess who else plays in that division? LSU, they've been successful recently. Auburn's been successful recently. Alabama's been successful recently. So don't tell me that it's because of the division they play in. When there's 3 other teams that have been successful with as little or less resources than them. So there you go. The Icy Hot Bowl. Oh, by the way, Uncle Lou called in the other night, was talking about the Cheez-It Bowl. He was giving me the runaround about the whole Cheez-It Bowl thing. The Cheez-It Bowl doesn't even exist anymore. I think, what did it change to? It's like the Fruit Loops Bowl or some shit like that. Let's see if we can find out what it is. Cheez-It Bowl? The Pop-Tart Bowl. Yeah, the Pop-Tart Bowl. That's what it's. Say goodbye to the Cheez-It Bowl jokes. You have to upgrade it to Pop-Tart Bowl jokes. What's up? Welcome to the Midday Show.
What's happening?
Tater flavored Pop-Tart. They should do Cheez-It flavored Pop-Tart.
Yeah, right?
Cheese flavored Pop-Tart.
I think Cheez-Its are better than Pop-Tarts.
I do too.
Have Cheez-Its than Pop-Tarts.
I do too. I think you can, even as an adult, you can be seen eating Cheez-Its and won't be judged by people. But if you're a 40-year-old man eating Pop-Tarts, people, that's a little weird.
Yeah, if you're eating a frosted blueberry Pop-Tart,
there's something weird about that.
Something's going on there under the skin there. Yeah.
Well, fortunately, Clemson will not be back to the Cheez-It or the Pop-Tart Bowl this year, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Although, if things do go sideways and they do end up in the Pop-Tart Bowl, I would like to see them play against Oklahoma. It's an ACC Big 12, thing.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
We could play TCU. That would be okay, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, fuck that. This is not happening. Why are we even entertaining this idea?
I don't know. Why not? Hover Billy says he's eating a Pop-Tart right now. Well, that's not surprising.
Right.
Well, Vic, your time is up. I need a decision from you immediately. Otherwise, I have to withdraw my offer.
Yes. So I have decided that I want to take you up on your offer.
That was the best decision you ever made in your life, Vic. So, everybody who's listening, I am officially Vic2 Productions agent.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, any and all business inquiries have to come through me. And I will promise you, Vic, that I will do all that I can to make the best decision in your best interest. For the low price of 8% of your channel. Traveling Fools.
I'm calling from the moon. Hello, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah.
Moon Studios, New Mexico.
Got a bad connection. I'm eating one of these NASA Pop-Tarts, and they are delicious.
When you were arguing with Brett, last night on the BVD show about the moon landing, and Brett said, in 1969, you think we had the technology to broadcast from the moon? And I said, shit, every single week on my call-in show, people call me from the moon. I mean, it's definitely can be done.
and from Mars and Neptune and everywhere else. Yeah.
Well, dude, radio waves just travel through space. It's not like broadcasting from the moon is hard.
No.
And that was one of the notions that he brought up, and I don't want to get into the whole moon landing crap.
Okay.
I got a ton of it. I got a ton to dispute on what he said last night, but there's everything that he said. There's a debunk of each and every item that he said about the moon landing.
Yeah, I don't know where I fall on that. I do have my reservations though. There is some weird stuff about it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to think that we did go.
Well, for all practical purposes, all the evidence is there. From right down, as I mentioned, to this LR-1, which is a lunar reconnaissance vehicle that went around the moon and mapped the moon in 2009, and found every landing site that the Apollo missions had landed. Could even see the rover track marks. Could even see the equipment that was left right from the Apollo 11 on, where everything was left. So from Tranquility Base to all the other landing sites, they're all there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Jay Shipe says the dustless gold foil sealed it for Brett. That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get that. The dust didn't land. And I got, you know what, I'll prove that one wrong just briefly. Because, all right, when the lunar module is landing, it has these 9-foot extensions on the pods. Those extensions, as soon as they hit the moon, they say lunar contact, and then the protocol is to shut off engines. So they probably, when the limb landed, it probably landed 6 feet or maybe 8 feet above the ground and then landed. Okay. So, and there's no air. Okay. There's no air so dust is not just going to pop up and settle and run around. Is it going to pick up dust? Yes, the movement will pick up the dust, but because there wasn't moon dust on the pods, and he only showed one pod. I don't get it.
It's why you can still see the track marks 54 years after the fact, because there's no wind.
That's right. There's no air. There's no wind. Everything is still the same there.
Well, like I said, we could talk about this for 2 hours, but
I know, and I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, so there are some things that just don't seem right about it to me. I'll just leave it at that. But
you know what? As I mentioned last night, 20% of Americans don't believe the man landed on the moon. And to me, that's sad. That truly is sad. Yeah. But it's also probably because of the generation. I mean, you're younger than I am, Pete. You weren't there, in that heyday of 1969 to see or hear or any of that about the moon landing, because exciting. It was as I said last night, one of the greatest achievements I think mankind has ever done.
Is it possible that they did go to the moon, but they did also embellish it a little bit and fake some of the footage to make it seem more grand than it was?
No, that was the whole thing. He said, well, the exposure to film couldn't handle. Hasselblad, Hasselblad is the camera they use. That camera was built specifically to go to the moon. That camera was covered with silver so it wouldn't reflect, so it wouldn't get hot or cold in 250 plus degrees temperatures and minus 250. So and it kept the film in. That was a camera that Wally Schirra had used on his moonwalk in the Gemini program, and NASA embraced that and started using that particular camera. But what they did is they did take the magazines, they did put it in a radioactive light, and they left a lot of the cameras there because of the weight. When they bring in moon rocks back, they had to get rid of some weight, so they had to leave a lot of stuff on the moon too as well.
Yeah, Roger Dodger says, remember when Buzz Aldrin knocked out that non-moon landing believer?
That was fucking funny as hell, dude.
That's the main guy who has the biggest, bunch of nonsense about the moon landing. And did you hear what he said right after Buzz popped him? He said, "Did you get that on film?"
Yeah.
That's what he wanted. He just wanted a reaction from Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, he's a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a prick. Anyway, I'm not going to. No more moon landing crap for me, unless Brett.
Hey, Scott. So I just want to say one more thing. That my grandfather actually worked on the program. Yeah, when he was at NASA.
There you go. Along with 400,000 other people, or 3,999 other people. That was the whole thing that just got me that he couldn't understand or comprehend it. 400,000, that's manufacturers, engineers, operators, machinists, scientists. I mean, they brought the brightest people in the world to work on this, and brought in so many companies to work on this, because they couldn't NASA didn't build a damn thing. They got people to outsource everything. They asked them what they wanted. They said, we need this. We need a navigational trajectory program. And the thing was so antiquated back in the day. They used cards to actually load up the computer.
Yes, 60s computers.
Yeah. So it was, and so to say that, why don't we use that same technology to go to the moon again? By the way, we are going to the moon in 2025. That's when we're going to the moon.
Yeah, it's not that hard anymore.
Artemis 2. We're going to circle the moon in 2024. We're going to the moon in 2025.
Yeah. They've already got. They already have the crew picked out, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about all that.
Yeah.
So if we so when we do land on the moon again, do you think that Brett is going to at this time?
No.
Well, here's the thing, though.
I think Brett needs to go himself, is what I think. Right. I think that's the only way you could conclude that Brett would even believe we went to the moon. He'd have to go himself.
Well, that's the thing about all these extremely grandiose conspiracy theories, is you said it, just the sheer number of people you'd have to swear to complete secrecy for like decades, and no spies would be able to get a hold of any of the information. No disgruntled employee would have to leak it to any, it's fucking, come on.
Don't you think that Russia, if we had faked the moon landing, would have already exposed that years and years ago?
Like literally, like right after it happened.
Right. They would have exposed it to the hilt. They would have said, no, it didn't happen. Here's the proof why. And none of that happened. So, and again,
spying on us like some motherfuckers back then. So they would have figured it out.
Right. But you know, it's an accomplishment. It is beyond comprehension that we did that, and we did it in all years in 1969. And look, there could have been a lot of mishaps. I mean, there could have been a lot of deaths in the Apollo mission. And you know, yeah. I mean, look, Apollo 1, we lost 3 astronauts there, just sitting on the launch pad.
Yeah, Tom Hanks almost died in Apollo 11 or 13.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, Apollo 13. We almost lost. And see, that would have been awful that we would have known that Apollo 13 are those 3 men circling the moon that are dead. That would have killed the program right then and there. So there were so many close calls that we could have had catastrophe, and thank God we did not. I think
Apollo 13 was after we landed on the moon, but still, yeah.
Yeah, Nature Boy says we get to witness the first moon landing in 2025. What a glorious time to be alive!
Yep. And then in fucking 2085,
smart ass. That smart ass. All right. Well, listen, I'll let you guys look. I'm so forward to watching football. I'm just.
I can't get here soon enough.
I know. So,
wow.
Yeah, and you know, I know it's going to be cupcake games for Georgia for the first few games, but so what? It'll be something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, at least Clemson has a really, really tough foe in Duke, so we don't have to worry about any cupcakes week 1.
Yeah. Hey, 11-1 for Clemson. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
Me too. Yeah, 11-1 with a loss to Notre Dame.
Well, my loss is possibly Notre Dame or FSU. Yeah.
I don't think we're losing at home, guys. I would pick one of the road games.
So you think either South Carolina or who's the other one? Miami?
You know what, Pete? I said this maybe a month ago.
Yeah, you said South Carolina. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it, but
well, you implied it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slim Shady's not here to defend Miami. Where the hell is he?
I don't know.
You know, he's normally right on time about everything. But and the three-peat of Georgia, that's going to be a tough obstacle to do. I hope we do it. I'm not predicting that we'll do it, but I'd love to see us do it. That's what I'd like to see.
It's all going to depend on quarterback play. No, I don't think you have any real issues anywhere else.
I mean, I have a lot of faith in Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's an exceptional quarterback. He can sling the ball a long way.
Yeah, I get the only thing he doesn't have is experience.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. You're right.
But, you know, he'll get it this year. Or maybe not. They may put Brock Vandegrift or, you know, Stockton in. I don't know.
Right.
Well, I guess he's going to have to get some experience. Yeah.
Well, the only way to get experience is to play, so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think he'll do fine. I really do. I think that they've got him set to I mean, he's got all the offensive weapons in the world to work with. So I think they'll do real good. And I think our defense will be stout again. So there's no way for Georgia to lose unless they, you know, beat themselves up.
Savage Dog says Stetson didn't have experience either. Yes, he did. He had a lot. He had more than most players in college football. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had played with other teams before.
Yeah.
Before Georgia.
Yeah, he had experience with Jones County College.
Yeah, community college.
Yeah, County Community. Yeah.
Yeah, Stetson was just a anomaly. That's what I look at him as. But he's looking good in the NFL too. Every indication of him in his practice and everything else and his reps, they like about Stetson.
I'm curious if he's going to be second on the depth chart.
Yes, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, Stafford's
who
prone
else?
to injury, so
Who else do they have?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
They have is it I want to say they have Sudfeld. Yeah, he's probably going to be second on the depth chart.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nate Sudfeld.
Who is Sudfeld?
Exactly.
He's the guy that the Eagles played in that game that they were tanking a couple years ago, and whatever. It doesn't matter. I think Stetson's the number 2 guy, probably.
Yeah.
Exactly. They played him when they were tanking. So there you go.
Yes.
Over Billy Paul says Stetson was in his late 20s.
You know, he's older than the majority of the members that are on his team. I think that's a real stat. I mean, first of all, the average age of an NFL player is early to mid 20s, isn't it? I mean, there's obviously some guys that are older, but the majority of them are in their 20s.
Yes. For sure.
So, he's already an old man.
Yeah, he'll be probably retired by the time he's 30. Yeah, if I were him, I would. Because, I mean, his name alone, he can go back to, was it Blackshear's, his hometown?
Yeah.
And open up an equity firm or something like that.
Or to Athens.
Make good money.
Or to Athens.
Yep. Or Athens.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, works at Athens. You get up.
Oh, he dropped off. You know, that's what Taj Boy did. I mean, he tried it in the NFL, didn't work out. And, you know, he's really made a living off of being a great Clemson quarterback and living in Clemson.
Yeah, well, he's with the team. What is his official capacity with the team?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know. But even before he was with the team, he was still doing okay, I think.
You saw that we brought James Davis back, too.
Yeah, James Davis and Taj Boyd. I don't know if he's going to be like, let's look it up.
Well, think about all the former players we have on staff, dude. I mean, even with Streeter gone, I mean, Grisham and Nick Eason and Thomas Austin and CJ Davis.
He is officially listed as, where is it here? He is an offensive assistant.
All right.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if that's one of those deals where he's, because you know some of the, I guess there's a difference between an assistant and an analyst. An assistant's an actual coach.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, think about like the Jack Leggett situation with the baseball team, right? Like he's an assistant or whatever, but he can't actually lead practices and do drills and stuff. So I don't know.
Right.
Because you can't just have 100 assistants out there on the field, right?
Well, I know analysts aren't allowed on the field.
Right.
Yeah, you go like 10, right, or something.
Yeah. So this says on July 19, 2021, Boyd was announced as in an interview that he would return to Clemson as an assistant coach working with the offense. So again, I don't know if he's going to be on the field or not. I'm assuming he will be. Well, we'll see.
No laptops.
No laptops.
No laptops.
I have not got to see it yet. We talked about this a little bit on Friday's show. You weren't here, Volusia, but somebody brought up the Johnny Manziel documentary. Have you seen that?
I have not, but I read a little bit of a synopsis of it. Seems pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I was going to watch it this weekend and just didn't get around to it, but I need to.
Maybe hilarious is the wrong word, but you know.
Yeah. It's only like 2 parts, I think, right?
What do they call that shit? What do they call the disease? Affluenza.
Affluenza.
Yeah, it's like it's a play on influenza, but it's for kids who grow up too rich and then they like do a bunch of blow and then they fucking ruin their lives. That's what affluenza.
Oh, okay.
Brad Pitt says it's good. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I might try to watch it this evening.
I'm looking forward to the Welcome to Wrexham season 2. That'll be pretty cool.
Well, what's that?
You know that Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, right, and Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny. They bought a soccer team in Wales a couple years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have turned this little, like, it was in the 5th tier of English soccer, and they poured money into it and sort of revived it's like the oldest stadium in the UK, like 150 years old or something, and they've revived the club. It was on the brink of death, and then like they've taken this little community under their arm, and they're filming a documentary about it. The season 1 came out last year. It was really, really good. And then season 2, they won their league and got promoted, but the actual show is coming out next month. It's really cool.
God, Josh Reynolds has that much money? That's shocking.
Oh yeah, Ryan. He owns a cell phone company too, man.
Right.
Jeez. I thought you had to be like a billionaire to buy one of those.
It's a small club. It's not. They didn't buy Manchester United. I mean.
Right. Yeah, I don't know anything about soccer. I just assumed that all those soccer teams were, you had to be a billionaire, but I guess not.
Yeah, so they were in the 5th tier of football. So that's like, they're out of the top 75, but they're climbing their way back. And, they do promotion and relegation. If you win your league, you get bumped up a level, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the NFL people that don't like college football, they tell you the reason they don't, there's too many teams to keep up with. You've got 5 conferences or 10 conferences. You had the group of 5. Yeah. And all, 12, 15, 16 teams in each conference, and it's just too many teams to keep up with. In the NFL, you only got to keep up with 32. With soccer, how many damn professional soccer teams are there?
Well, I mean, if you're in England alone, I mean, look, most people don't pay attention to anything outside of the first league and maybe the second league. But like, if you're a real big fan, yeah, it's like hundreds. You know what I mean?
How many are in the first league? See, this is what I don't know. Like I know, like there's like the Premier League. Is the Premier League like is that the Premier League?
No, the Premier League is the top flight league in England.
Okay.
And then, but you have like Serie A in Italy and La Liga in Spain and Bundesliga in Germany and blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how you keep up with all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I watch a lot of soccer, but like the thing is, most of it I just check scores and read about it. You can't keep up with every fucking game, or it's too much.
Well, plus you live in China, and every other country except for the United States, everybody watches soccer.
Right.
So,
yeah. I watch Chinese soccer a lot actually.
Yeah.
So actually, where I was at this morning?
No, where were you?
I was in Wuhan.
Uh-oh. You didn't go to the wet market, did you?
I was there for 2 days. I was literally in Wuhan this morning. I just got back on the train a couple hours ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So when you come back from Wuhan, do they automatically quarantine you, or is that over with?
No. There's no more quarantine. No one.
Right.
There's no. That's done. That's been. No one's doing that anymore.
Okay.
No, Wuhan is fine. They're doing fine. It's back to normal. But yeah, I went there for a soccer game.
You know what I've heard about Wuhan? I've heard that the boiled bat is very good. Did you try that?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna check out that fucking market. No.
I thought they don't sell those anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't.
I thought they like banned the sale of
It was banned before this happened, but somebody was doing it illicitly.
Well, Vandy Dandy says Ryan Reynolds sold Mint Mobile for $1.3 billion, so he is a billionaire.
There you go.
He sold Mint Mobile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The AP poll has Florida State ahead of the Did the AP poll come out? When did that come out?
And Florida State ahead of who?
Clemson.
Yeah, most polls do.
I didn't know the AP poll came out yet. I thought just the coaches poll did.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I'm about to find out.
Give a fuck where we're ranked.
I don't really either, but it is at least something to talk about.
Yeah.
8 minutes ago. So it just came out today.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I guess so. This
12, 13. Like you and I guessed that, right? 12, 13, something like that.
Hold on, let me put this on the screen. This is something to talk about here.
All right.
Which website is this? This is the AP, which makes sense. It's the AP poll.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. So they just posted this on Google 8 minutes ago. So this is very new. All right. So according to the AP poll, Georgia number 1, no shocker there. Michigan number 2, I guess no shocker there either. Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, LSU 5, Southern Cal 6. Yeah, I would have Southern Cal ahead of LSU. I would have Southern Cal ahead of both LSU and Alabama, honestly. But
Yeah.
Penn State 7, Florida State 8. Wow. And Clemson 9. Washington 10, Texas 11, Tennessee 12. Man, they're gonna be mad. They're ranked at 3 spots lower than Clemson. Notre Dame 13, Utah 14, Oregon 15, Kansas State 16, TCU 17. Now I don't know. I don't get that. Maybe in the top 25, but I don't know about 17. Who's their offensive coordinator now that Garrett Riley left?
I mean, they still have Sonny Dykes, so they have a similar offense.
Right. Oregon State with the ukulele at number 18. Wisconsin.
Season of the irrelevant program.
Yeah, Oregon State's ranked ahead of Wisconsin, North Carolina, Texas A&M. Listen to this. All right, so Wisconsin 19, Oklahoma 20, North Carolina 21, Ole Miss 22, Texas A&M 23.
Okay.
Tulane 24, and Iowa. How do they get in the top 25? Man, guess who I don't see on this list? Where's South Carolina at?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
They're not
They're the
on
first one
there.
out.
They're not on there.
Are they the first team out?
Fucking Iowa's on there, though. That's weird.
Yeah,
They're the second team out.
Is there an others receiving
Damn.
votes?
Yeah, others receiving votes: Texas Tech, South Carolina, UCLA, UTSA, Arkansas, Boise State, Pittsburgh. I'm actually surprised Pittsburgh's not in the top 25, even if it's like around 24 or 25. But
Look, Duke got 4 votes.
yeah, Kentucky, Louisville, Troy, Kansas, Auburn, Minnesota, Toledo, Duke, 4 votes. Florida, Baylor, Coastal Carolina, NC State. Oh, yeah, NC State's not in the top 25 either. You hate to see it.
You hate to see
You hate to see it.
Voted for Toledo.
Yeah, I don't know.
the guy from the Toledo Herald Ledger. I don't fucking know.
I mean, this list isn't terrible, but the disrespect to Tennessee here. You know, I mean, they're actually people that believe that Tennessee's going to win the SEC this year.
So we're 9. And
Yeah, we're
Florida
9. Florida State's 8.
Okay.
Man, the worst conference according to everybody in all of football has got 2 teams in the top 10.
Weird.
But yeah, I think I would have both Penn State and Southern Cal ahead of both LSU and Alabama. I would just flip these, like take Alabama and LSU and move them down and switch them with USC and Penn State. That's the order that I would have them in.
No one's going to do that.
No, but I know, again, it's the AP, so it's just, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
but the most non-AP polls, just YouTubers and sports outlets, websites and everything, most of the people that I saw had Clemson barely cracking the top 15. Some of them had Clemson outside of the top 15. So
I saw a lot of 12 and 13 and 14
yeah,
and stuff.
right. Yeah, the AP just hates the SEC. You're right, Savage Dog. That makes sense.
Right.
Hate it. SEC.
How many voters are in the AP? Do you know?
I've seen the number. It's too many.
It's too many, and also too many people that have no business voting in it. There is that too. Here's all voters. Let's see if it doesn't have a number on here. It looks like about.
All you got to do is just count all the first place votes, and that gives you your answer.
I think it's like 64.
Yeah, it's like
That's what it
60
looks
something.
like.
Let's look at some of these names on here that shouldn't be on here.
Oh, I see 63. 60 Georgia, 1 Michigan, 2 Michigan, 1 Ohio State. So 63.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even recognize most of these names. I do see Brett McMurphy's on there.
Jablomi.
Is it the same voters every week, or is it different every week?
No, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Voters every week. Okay.
Yes. Randy Johnson. Oh, Randy Johnson's cracking into football. Interesting.
Pete Martini. That's a cool name.
Nice. Now go up one. Then what's the guy's name? Dave. What now?
Which one?
Dave something. Dave Jablomi. What was it?
Dave Jablomi.
Go up. Go up.
Oh. Jablonski.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah. Emily Liquor.
But what, like, it spelled like liquor, like the drink, or like liquor,
Jordan
like
Kramer.
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 Yeah. There you go. I recognize that name. Where do I know that name from? Steve Wiseman. Oh, Reese Davis. I know him.
Right, okay. I'll give him. Okay, I'll give it to Reese Davis. He can have a vote. That's fine.
Yeah.
I know he pays attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there it is, guys.
Ben Dover gonna vote too. Yeah. Norma
It's
Stick.
Ben. Sorry, Emily Liquor. Gotta have a Ben. All right. And we have a Dave Jablomi.
Yeah.
Dave Jabroni. Well, there you have it. Now people will be arguing about that for the next week. You know.
Yeah. Getting all upset.
Baylor Man says Ohio State's too high.
Okay.
Too high. I think Alabama's too high. But yeah, I think they shouldn't be in the top 5.
What about Tennessee?
Last time Alabama was not in a preseason top 5.
You think that Tennessee got screwed, or is that accurate?
I think that's accurate.
You think that's accurate?
Yeah, it's fine. Why should Tennessee be in the top 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's accurate too. It's just some of the ones that are ahead of them.
I guess because they were number 1 for 1 week last year. So.
Right.
Yeah, the Tennessee man's going to be mad at this. There's 2 teams at least they're going to point to and say that there's no way they should be ahead of us. One of them's going to be Clemson, just because they beat them in the bowl game.
Which is completely fucking irrelevant. But
The other one's going to be Florida State, the 2 ACC teams. Might be a third one in there. Huh. So
Hooker now, is he with the Lions? Is that right?
So they give you the who?
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they give you the number of where they ended the season in the AP and where they are now, how many spots they went up or down. LSU went up 11 spots. I don't see anybody. Oh, Texas went up 14. So they were ranked 25 and now they're ranked 11. Clemson moved up 4. Florida State moved up 3. Who moved down the most? Let's see here.
Well, Tulane moved down a lot because they ended up like in the top 10.
Well, TCU moved way down. They moved down 15 spots.
Which makes sense. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they finished, what, 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, all right.
And then all these other ones with just dashes, they weren't ranked. But they are now. So there's actually a lot of those. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shit, Penn State is ranked 7, and they weren't even ranked last year to end the season?
Is that
Yeah,
true?
they were ranked to end the season.
Well, how come there's no number by their name then?
Yeah,
Where were they ranked at then?
in the top 10. I know they beat Utah in the Rose Bowl. So
Yeah. I don't know what that means then. I don't know why they don't have it on there. Anyway.
Whatever. Nothing matters less than the week 1 AP rankings. So.
yeah.
Right, something to get upset about.
I'm not sure Iowa should be even in the top 40, honestly. I mean, I know they got their defense is solid, but
Their defense is excellent.
Yeah, well, okay. And also, didn't now this doesn't have anything to do with the AP votes. I understand that, but aren't they in that scandal where a bunch of the players got caught gambling on the games?
Yeah, I heard about that. It was Iowa and Iowa State.
Yeah, that was Iowa State. That was
there was a couple of players from Iowa too. I'm pretty sure.
That was.
There was multiple teams, and there was multiple teams. It wasn't just one team. Let's see.
Well, here's the issue. Iowa and Iowa State got caught. Do you think this problem is strictly confined to the state of Iowa?
No. I think we're going to talk about that tonight on the Lunch Money Show. I read about it and all that. I didn't read exactly how all this information came to light. How did they get caught?
Yeah, it's like how did Calvin Ridley get caught? Yeah.
Oh, and I think I just answered my own question. I'm pretty sure I read that they did it through DraftKings, which that's how Calvin Ridley got caught, because he was using DraftKings, and I think these guys did too.
And then he got suspended for the whole year. So
Right.
Yeah.
Here's hoping he has a good year this year, because if he does, that means Trevor Lawrence certainly did too.
Right. Well, I think the Jaguars are going to be good this year.
They're going to be excellent. I think ETN's going to be a top 5 back in the league, and I think you got to agree with that.
Yeah, see, so there was it was both Iowa State and Iowa charged in sports betting investigation. I know that at least one guy from Iowa was gambling on games that he played in, for sure. Which that's a big time no. I mean, it's one thing we can have the debate whether they should be able to gamble at all, which they probably shouldn't. But if you're gambling on a game you're playing in, that's no bueno.
Well, you know what the NFL rule is? I mean, this is obviously college, but the NFL rule is that they're allowed to gamble on sports other than the NFL. Actually, they're not allowed to gamble on football at all, which means any football of any level they're not allowed to gamble on. And then if they do place bets on, the NBA or whatever, or the World Cup or whatever it might be, they're not allowed to do it from the team facilities. That's the rule.
Oh, so it's a player that transferred from Iowa State to Iowa? Is that what it is? I don't know. The charge carries a maximum sentence of up to 2 years in prison and a fine ranging from $855 to $8,540.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to go to prison, but they might.
So another group of Iowa State and Iowa athletes was charged earlier this month in this state's investigation, including Iowa State projected starting quarterback Hunter Deckers, and more than a dozen athletes have now been charged in the probe. So more than a dozen.
Well, look, they've got to be extremely careful about this, because it can really ruin the integrity of this huge business really fast.
Yeah, you don't want it to spread.
According to an affidavit by ESPN, Brock made 1,327 online wagers totaling more than $12,050 under a DraftKings account associated with a non-athlete.
Wow.
How did he get caught if he was using somebody else to do it? That's what I want.
Someone else's account. Yeah.
He was having one of his friends at school do the gambling for him, which was smart, but it still got caught. Also, not to mention underage. He's not even old enough to gamble.
Here
it is. The DraftKings account was registered to Vincent Bruce, who is over 21. Bruce, who started at wide receiver in portions of the last 2 seasons, made 11 wagers on games he played and during 2021 and 8 games he played on in 2022.
Fucking idiot. Here's an idea. If you have your friend to do it, if you having your friend do it for you, don't make it a fucking teammate.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yes, I don't know which bets were his and which bets were the other guys.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe he got caught doing it and he ratted his friend. Maybe he ratted his friend out or something.
Well, if this is an actual crime on a state level or a federal level, they can get the bank transfer records or something. I'm sure he was sending the guy money after that
Right.
corresponded rather with the,
Right.
It's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah. Bracey, who appeared in 14 games at Iowa, allegedly made 66 wagers totaling $715 while underage, including bets on games in which he played against Michigan and South Dakota State. Jeez.
Okay. Oh, so
I would like to know, were they betting against their team? That's what I want to know.
Oh.
Like betting their team not to cover the spread or betting on the money line for their team to lose, It's one thing. It's one thing if you're betting for your team to win. It's a whole different thing if you're betting them to lose, and you're playing in the game.
That if you play for Iowa, you bet the under, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what he was doing. He's like, shit, our fucking offense is terrible. I'm just going to bet the under every week.
bet the under, take the other team to cover. Yeah.
You know what? If I was an Iowa defender, I would be, if it was an Iowa defender, I would be a little bit sympathetic to that. Just getting pissed off after scoring 7 points week after week. Just like, fuck this. My effort is going to waste. I'm betting the under and I'm making some money out of it.
Nature Boy says the Iowa State guy used his fiance's account. Well, that's stupid too. If you're going to do it to somebody who's not associated with the football team in any way and somebody who you don't live with. I mean.
Right. Hupperbilly says, why is it against the law? And the answer is very, very obvious. Because it ruins the entire integrity of this business. And if America revolves around one thing, it's money. And people are not going to allow this to ruin their golden goose.
Also, almost all these guys, I think, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them, weren't old enough to gamble in the first place, so they're breaking the law that way. You have to be 21 to gamble, right? Yeah. Johnson, listen to this. Listen to this. This one guy used his mother's DraftKings account, including 2 Iowa games, one in 2021 and one in 2022, in which he did not play. He allegedly made 380 different wagers totaling more than $1,800 while underage.
Dude, Hupperbilly, first of all, you can't be gambling on your own games. It just ruins the integrity of everything. Secondly, it's not out in the open. That's the problem. We're learning about it now, a year after the fact. And then I'm sure there's 100,000 other incidents that we'll never know about. They can't allow this, dude. They can't allow it.
We can't allow it. Yeah.
And I'm libertine when it comes to most shit, but like you can't do this.
Yeah, you can't. You can't open Pandora's box. Nope.
Especially after taking such a puritanical approach to gambling in America for all these fucking decades and centuries. Now all of a sudden it's just like, I mean, come on. The old heads wouldn't accept it.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not a good thing to have players betting on games, especially if they're playing in them. But even if they are old enough. So.
Yeah,
I bet on.
Andy says Chinese basketball games are fixed. Yeah, dude, and that's fine. People don't watch it, even in China. Because if everyone thinks it's fixed, no one's gonna fucking watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people already think the NFL is fixed. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. The NFL is rigged crowd.
I don't think
the NBA is rigged.
I think the NBA was rigged for a time. I think they're doing better now.
Well, the NBA just had a couple of bad apples that were
right.
refereeing.
I don't think the
That was
NBA is banking on the Bucks and Nuggets winning titles. I don't think that's what the NBA would want.
No.
Which I love it. I absolutely love that the Nuggets won the championship. That's amazing to me. But yeah, dude, NBA's fixed. Dude, why would they fix the game for the Nuggets? Why would the NBA ever fix anything for the Denver Nuggets?
Well, the question I don't think is the NFL is rigged crowd. They do believe that the NFL is behind rigging it, but the other ones like the NBA and stuff, it's more has to do with players and or coaches and or referees throwing games for gambling purposes.
Right.
Well,
Like
I mean, I
this.
think they might have rigged it for Yo Kick. But
Why would they rig it for Yo? He's like the least marketable superstar ever. Like, nah, dude. No. I think, there were some series there in the early 2000s where the Lakers won where they shouldn't have won. But those are the ones where it was found out later that that Donaghy, the ref, had his fucking dirty fingers in. So,
Traveling Fool says that Chinese checkers is also fixed.
yes, sure. Oh, fools! I was just in Chengdu again for 2 weeks, and you know who I saw there? Actually, I didn't tell you guys this. So I went there for the University Olympics. They were held in Chengdu this year. And do you remember, Pete, in 2019 in Italy when the USA sent the Clemson team to Italy and they won the gold medal? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Basketball team?
Yeah.
So this year they did it in China, in Chengdu, and I went to it as a media reporter for it. So I was on press row. And so instead of the Clemson team this year, they sent the Tulane team. And so I got to cover it. I watched them beat Korea. They lost to Brazil, but Brazil didn't bring a college team. They basically cheated and brought
right. They brought 30-year-old guys, right?
Yeah, well, no, 25 is the limit, but their star player is the star player on their national team. Then they're playing against a bunch of 19-year-old kids from Tulane. It wasn't really fair, but
they brought the Sycamore Bishop Sycamore team.
yeah, but it was pretty cool. I got to interview them. So their coach is Ron Hunter. I don't know if you remember. In the NCAA tournament about 10 years ago, there was the coach for Georgia State where his son hit the buzzer beater and he fell off his stool or whatever. I don't know if you remember that moment, but so he's the Tulane coach now, and I got to talk to him and interview him. He was super fucking cool. And so I was doing that out in Chengdu. It was pretty dope. We got to talk to a lot of the athletes, and it was pretty sick.
So you said they beat Korea, but they lost to Brazil. A bunch of
teams. They beat Czech. They beat a few teams. They made the knockout round, but they lost to Brazil. They got third place. They won the bronze. But yeah, Brazil beat them because Brazil was a bunch of grown ass men. It was like
yeah.
But it was so cool.
Well,
I was upset because I missed Clemson. If it had been a switch where it was Tulane 4 years ago and Clemson in China this year, I would have gone ape shit. It would have been amazing. But
Travis Dog says professional sports are not fixed. Well, there's been a long history and a big time problem in boxing with it. So that's documented. But outside of a couple of incidents in the NBA, and that's really the only one I could think of. Maybe baseball. Well, we know about the Pete Rose thing, but which the Pete Rose thing is kind of bullshit too. I understand, but I think it's been proven that he never bet against his own team, right? When he was a manager.
That's right. He bet for his team, but back then they were even more puritanical about it. And also, I feel like they didn't have the same sort of ways to sort of govern it or check on it. It wasn't like people doing it on DraftKings where there's an electronic quote unquote paper trail. Back then it was fucking Wild West kind of shit.
Yeah,
The Sopranos doing it and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that the Boston College point shaving thing. So there's incidents here and there, but that's a far cry. That's a far cry from the NFL as a scripted league. I mean,
it's a far cry.
It's a far cry. Big difference.
Far cry.
Right now, I was thinking the game series.
The video game, yeah, one of my favorite video games, Far Cry 3.
What is that?
Well, I have it on Xbox 360. I don't know if it's on the newer Xbox or not.
What do you do in that game? I don't know a video game.
It's an open world first person game.
Okay, that sounds cool.
It is. It's very cool.
I mean, I have Far Cry 6. So.
Far Cry 6.
Farther Cry.
Yeah.
3 is the best one. Have you played that one, Vic?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's the only one.
I actually went to. I hardly play video games ever, like once a year maybe. But anyway, I still have my 360. Every once in a while I fire it up. But I went looking through my games, and I realized that either my kids lost the game or they let somebody borrow it and they didn't bring it back or whatever. But that was my favorite game, and it was missing. So there's a store here in town at the Outlet Mall that has all of the old games, all the way back from Atari, Nintendo, every game system in the history of mankind. And they have all the games for them. So I went in there and I found Far Cry 3 and I bought it. So I have it now. I haven't played it yet, though.
Yeah.
What's up, Jason Go Blue?
Does anyone think Michigan is overrated at number 3? Speaking of which, I haven't heard anybody say
They're at
that.
number 2, aren't they? Yeah, they're at number 2.
Are they? That's...
Yeah, it's Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, then Alabama. That's the top 4.
Number 3. Yeah, number 2, number 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, that's high, dude. I don't know. That's high, in my opinion.
But who would you have in that spot other than them?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess maybe.
that's the problem.
I guess Ohio State, maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, but I can understand why people would put Ohio State behind Michigan at this particular juncture. Yeah, it makes sense.
They should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd have. I don't know who else I'd put it to other than Michigan. So I guess I would agree with it.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I think I'm higher on Southern Cal than most people are, though.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they're ranked at 6. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good ranking, but I think they should be in the top 5. I'd put them higher than LSU and Alabama.
Ohio State is having issues in practice. I'm not concerned about, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Ohio State, but having issues in practice, I remember before his rookie year with the Bengals, everyone was saying Jamar Chase was dropping everything in practice and he was going to be a bust, and then he went out and so I'm not super worried about that if I'm an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, let's not worry about what's happening in practice 2 weeks before the game start. I mean, we will find out soon enough.
Hey Vic, we're talking about practice, man.
Yeah.
Not a game.
Right. Not a game. Not a game. Exactly.
I'm looking on this AP website. They have a pop-up ad from Moderna for vaccines.
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh, no pun intended. No, I was wondering this. I was asking this before. So I am a fan of them putting disgusting stuff in giant bowls and dumping it on coaches' heads. We got the mayonnaise bowl. What would be the grossest thing that could be a reasonable bowl sponsor that they could put in a bowl and dump on someone's head?
Well, the mayonnaise one's pretty bad.
I mean, it's hard to get worse than that. But
I mean, even if you like mayonnaise, it's still gross to have it on your body, on your head.
Like coleslaw would be rough.
Yeah. Well, see, that's mayonnaise based, so it's kind of the same.
I thought of icy hot. I thought that would be pretty funny.
Well, that would be painful.
KY jelly. There you go. Mandy says KY jelly.
KY jelly. The KY jelly bowl.
Pour spaghetti sauce on. You have the ragu bowl.
The ragu bowl, yeah, dude. The ragu bowl. Okay, yeah. The cheese whiz bowl, maybe. Sorry. Yeah.
I guess melted cheese would be pretty bad too.
Melted cheese might be too hot. Yeah, that might.
What about like the I don't know, what's like a salsa brand, like the Pace Picante bowl?
Yeah.
Salsa.
What if it was just like salt, like the Morton's salt bowl? Just pour salt all over them.
That probably wouldn't stick to you, though, really.
Yeah. Vinegar.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Wasabi bowl. Ew.
Oh, wasabi.
Yeah, the Texas Pete bowl. That'd be sick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there actually is a wasabi, but that's the wasabi Fenway bowl. Yeah.
The Blue Chew Bowl.
The Blue Chew bowl. Pepto-Bismol.
Oh no.
That'd be sick.
Sound like they had their own Blue Chew problem going on up there at
Northwestern.
Northwestern. Yeah.
Yeah. Car wash, huh? That's a visual for you.
Preparation H Bowl.
On the whole, Preparation H feels good. Okay.
Sauerkraut. Ugh.
Yeah, sauerkraut.
Yeah, there you go. Chili. How about chili?
Yeah.
Pretty much anything that you can put on a hot dog would be bad. Relish.
Yeah, but like it has to be something I wouldn't want to take like a big bite of. Like I could do a mouthful of chili. Like that's good, you know? But like mayonnaise, no. Like that's why this is bad.
Any condiment would be bad. A ketchup wouldn't be good.
Relish.
Mustard.
Yeah, they could just really take this in a number of different ways.
The Pop-Tart bowl, which is the old Cheez-It bowl. I don't think if you pour Pop-Tarts on somebody, that's not going to do anything.
They should do a Pop-Tart.
They pour fries on people, like for the famous Idaho potato bowl. They like pour like dump fries.
They do.
I just want to point out something. You know that 80% of the world is starving, right? And we're I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, you remember when Clemson played Iowa State and on the field afterwards, the field was covered with Cheez-Its. I mean, millions of Cheez-Its. You're right, and there's like starving people out there, and we're just throwing Cheez-Its on the field.
Oh yeah, the mustard bowl. Tennessee could go to the mustard bowl. That's right. I didn't think of that. Good point.
Yeah, so we'd have Tennessee and I don't know. Thought we were gonna have like Tennessee and Pitt right last year. I think we called it the ketchup and
yeah.
A few years ago, whenever Miami was in the Cheez-It Bowl, Coach Coop did a video where he took a bath in a bath full of Cheez-Its.
God bless him, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Imagine getting excited. Boy. I guess if you're Miami nowadays, that would be awesome.
The Cheez-It Bowl. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, can't relate.
Fucking unbelievable, dude.
See if I can find it.
It'd be like maple syrup would be pretty gross.
Oh, God, yeah.
Miss Butterworth Bowl.
Here we go. I'll put this on the screen.
The Aunt Jemima Bowl.
Yeah, that's canceled now, though.
Yeah, you can't have that anymore.
Now it's the Pearl Milling Company Bowl.
Right.
Shout out to Coach Coop.
What's going on,
yeah, man.
fans and the
This is him right here.
He is.
Look at him. Now, this is disturbing. It appears as if he's actually naked. I don't know if he is, but it appears that way.
YouTube channel. This
It appears that way.
relatively normal content.
That he's naked in the Cheez-It bath? Is that what you're suggesting?
Right, but I guess he used to be well covered in the right.
Athletic Bowl, and also
In the right places, yeah.
Sports Bowl. Cheez-It is just the new sponsor of this bowl game, and me personally,
He's naked, but he's wearing socks.
I love Cheez-It.
Checks out, yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like he would do that. Yeah.
Black socks.
Short, sweet, simple. and to the point. 2020's been rough on everyone. Myself
Naked
included,
with socks,
especially
dude.
financially.
Just put a cowboy hat on and that's an
Everything was to
ensemble.
fill This entire bathtub with Cheez-Its, but we were really only able to
Like the
cover
fucking
this
guy in Times
specific
Square, right?
area, so you're welcome. According to ESPN.com, Oklahoma
He used extra
State is the
toasty
favorite
Cheez-Its,
in the
too.
state with
Those
a
are good.
percentage chance at 54.8%.
Don't they have, like,
The Miami
spicy Cheez-Its?
Hurricanes at 40.
Yeah, they have all kinds of different flavors.
The last time the Miami
Yeah, they got
Hurricanes
white
actually
cheddar
won a bowl
Cheez-Its
game
that they
was
got.
back in
They got all kinds.
2016, which just so happens to be, I don't know if this is coincidence or not, the Russell Athletic Bowl, which was in Camping World Stadium, which is now the
Anyway,
Cheez-It
a blast from the past. Coach Coop,
Yeah, dude.
sparing no expense, pulling out all the stops. Cheez-Its.
Yeah, boxes of Cheez-Its do you have to buy to fill a bathtub?
Well, he didn't fill the bathtub. He just explained that. He said he financially couldn't afford enough Cheez-Its to fill the bathtub up, so he just covered his private area with them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know. It looked like, it's hard to say, how, probably 3 or 4 boxes, what it looked like. I don't know.
Doesn't he got 3 or 4 boxes? Yeah.
So many questions, man. Jesus Christ.
It doesn't sound like enough.
No.
Well, it barely
Not
covered
at
them.
all.
Do you smoke natural American spirits and use a Zippo lighter? Who are you talking to?
He's talking to you, I guess.
No, I don't smoke anymore.
Yes.
What did Mark Twain? I'm not suggesting that you're full of shit, Pete. But what did I believe this is Mark Twain that said this. He said, "Quitting smoking is the easiest thing ever. I've done it 1,000 times."
Yeah. No, I haven't smoked in over a month.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a lie. When we went to the Slob softball game in Georgia, I did smoke one cigarette. I smoked one of Traveling Fool's cigarettes. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were hammered drunk. I smoked a cigarette. So I smoked one cigarette in a month.
The weakest of times.
Because of times you're hammered, yeah.
Yeah. I do use a vape though to curb my craving.
Well, yeah, vapes are vapes are good for that, dude. Like vapes are good.
It works.
My vape has helped me cut down. I haven't actually tried to quit yet. I'm smoking one right now, but yeah, I do have a couple of vapes and they help me at least like during the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I start drinking at night, like no, but during the day, yeah, it helps me out.
Yeah, I think I quit for good this time. I mean, first of all, the amount of money, that's one reason, other than just health reasons. The vape, a $20 vape lasts like anywhere from 10 to 14 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spending orders of magnitude more than that.
I was spending $10 a day on cigarettes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a day. So that's $300 a month.
Yeah, you get $70 a week. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he says the longer you go without, the easier it gets. I think that's true. But yeah, then again, I haven't actually given it the old college try yet. I've kind of just been like,
The longer you go, the easier it gets.
I have this one called, I got it in Florida at this vape shop. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'll show you what I use. He's asking what I use.
C5000.
This is the one I have now. There's another one that's just like it. It's called a Cali bar. This is a HQD bar. It's what is it? A QV bar, CUVIE. That's the one I use.
Yeah, see, mine looks just like that. I'm sure it's like the same. It's probably made in the same factory, honestly.
Probably.
No, I don't do dip, man. I never got into dip, dude. I had some buddies at Clemson who dipped, but
I tried to get into that too. When I had jobs where I couldn't smoke, and people were dipping, I don't know. It just never worked for me. I mean, it did give you like a nicotine rush for sure.
Right.
But
it doesn't cure the oral fixation of smoking.
That, and I could never master not swallowing any of the tobacco juice.
Yeah.
So then you get heartburn real bad and it makes your stomach hurt. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Wet Blanket said weed helped him stop a lot of stuff. I actually feel that I had to quit smoking weed a few years ago. And I actually smoke and drink more now than I did back then, for sure. So I understand what he means by that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm endorsing it, but I'm just telling you that's true. I can back up what he's saying.
No, I don't do you don't do lippers? No, I don't do lippers. Plus, I don't like spitting.
Yeah, man. But you know what? Also, like, smoking makes your teeth yellow and all this shit. So does drinking coffee, blah, 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 blah. But man, just having the tobacco juice is not something I want.
And people walk around spitting in a bottle, and then they carry the bottle with their spit all around. It's just nasty.
It's gross.
It's gross.
Yeah. Look, and there are people who say smoking is gross, and I get it, but like, I'll stick with that for now. Yeah, dude. So he says it's contagious overseas. A lot of my friends from Northern Europe, especially, like the Swedes, love their snus, dude.
What is that?
It's like the little tobacco. It looks like almost like a piece of gum. That hard shell gum.
Yeah.
It's like that, except it comes in this little sort of like little packet. And you put it under your lip, and it doesn't create juice, and you can actually swallow it. I think it's banned in the States. It didn't used to be banned in the States 20 years ago, but I don't know if it is now. But yeah, it's big in like Sweden and places like that. And like it's not as nasty. There's no like brown juice or anything.
And it just has nicotine in it?
Yeah, it's tobacco.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Frothy Tavern, even when I did smoke, I didn't smoke inside. I didn't smoke in my car. I didn't smoke in my house. I only smoked outdoors. But you're right about But you are right about the clothes thing. It does still makes your clothes stink.
I think it's okay as long as you make sure to smoke outside. It doesn't make your clothes smell too bad. I don't find that I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah, but I don't think you probably notice it as much as if you come in contact with somebody who doesn't smoke. They probably smell it on you.
Perhaps.
You're probably used to it. But
now, when they banned smoking indoors here in like 2016 or something like that in the city. And I was actually thrilled about that, man, because my favorite pub that I go to all the time is kind of like a hole in the ground. And when you could smoke in there, man, holy crap, like you would just come out there reeking, man. It was awful. And now that everyone has to go and smoke on the front porch, number one, you don't come out smelling like that, even if you smoke. And then number two is like the smokers go outside and have like there's, smoking is also a social thing.
Yeah, it's a social thing. Yeah, for sure.
So that actually is kind of good. Plus over here, more people smoke than in America for sure. So it's like,
is that true?
Less of a taboo. Oh yeah, a lot more. Yeah.
Wow.
I think fewer women in China smoke, but a lot more men do. A lot more. It's like a third of men at least smoke in China. Maybe.
Wow.
More. Yeah, it's a lot.
Smoking is the most detrimental thing you can do to yourself besides being a Tennessee fan. So being a Tennessee fan is worse for your health than smoking?
Well, for mental health, for sure.
Yeah.
Being a Falcons fan, dude. Oh, imagine that, dude. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I can imagine. Yes.
Hey, Vic, did you ever see? Used to be SB Nation, but now they call it Secret Base, the YouTube channel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's really good. They did a 7-part documentary about the history of the Atlanta Falcons. It's incredible, man. You should check it out. They're doing one about the Vikings now. They did one about the Mariners. And it's just sort of these somewhat sordid franchises that have had all their ups and downs. If you can, the Seattle Mariners, the Falcons, the Vikings, you get the point. And it gets really, really down into the nitty gritty of the entire history of the Falcons. And it's really interesting, man. I mean, it'll be torturous for you.
I was going to say, it sounds depressing.
Well, every game he watches is torturous. I mean, he's a Falcons fan, so he's going for it. So, but I would recommend you watching that documentary. It goes through from the 60s up till the modern era. It's really, really, really cool. If you ever want to binge watch something, I would suggest that to you.
Yeah, it's definitely bad for your health. I mean, look at Sleeta. Look what it's done to him. Yeah. Anyway, I do have to go though, guys.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Indeed.
All right. Well, see you later, Volusia. Good to see you back.
All right. Yeah, man. Hopefully you're doing another one Wednesday.
I'll be on Wednesday.
All right. I'll try to make it.
All right, buddy. See you then.
All right. See y'all.
And Vic, you made the right choice, my friend, in making me your official agent of the Vic2 Productions YouTube channel. And like I said, I promise I'll do everything in my power to make the right decisions on your behalf.
Okay. And I also want to, thank you for being my agent. Yeah.
You're very welcome. It's actually an honor. I'm honored.
I really appreciate
it. Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, so we did a little bit of everything today. We went through at the top of the show. If you weren't here, I ironed out my streaming schedule both for the public side of YouTube and for the members for week 0 and week 1. So what do we got here? Week 0 members stream is Hawaii and Vanderbilt, and the public side is going to be Navy and Notre Dame in Ireland. Week 1. The 7:30 slot for the members, I forget which games those are. I think that's South Carolina and North Carolina and West Virginia and Penn State, I think. Then the public side of YouTube, Thursday, the 8 o'clock games, and the noon games on Saturday. And then Monday, obviously Clemson and Duke. I'll be doing that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 6 different streams I'll be doing in the span of whatever it is, 4 days. So it's coming. It's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. Everyone, make sure you tune in tonight for the Lunch Money Show over on Uncle Lou's main channel. We'll be on there discussing college football and whatever other nonsense that we can possibly get into. So I'll see you all then. Have a great Monday, everybody. Thanks for joining me.